Initializing nextlife system. System ready.
What is going on, my friends, and welcome back to another episode of nextlife. Today we're going to be talking about automation, specifically robots, and how they are going to impact us tremendously within the coming years. Nothing too crazy very soon, but there's a recent report actually by the McKinsey Global Institute, which states that nearly 50% of all jobs will be automated by 2055. They state that already robots are capable of handling over 30% of human tasks that take up about 60% of the occupation. So basically, like, we're almost already there in terms of our capabilities. It's more of like integration, and the integration would take, like, we're at 2017, another 30-ish years for that to happen. So obviously this brings about some major ramifications for, what that could mean for, a massive amount of workers, and like what that means for our society. It changes everything. One of the main things that it does change is it makes, if we had that much automation, if robots were automating 55% of the industry, then things would be a lot faster. Just to show you guys this productivity growth from steam engine from 1850 to 1910, 0.3% increase in productivity there. Then we moved into the early robotics from 93 to 2007, and that was 0.4% growth. And my question there is it a point? Yeah, productivity growth. Okay, so I was like, is it going from 0.3 to 0.4? But I think it's actually like a 0.4% growth overall there. And then moving from IT, going into IT, was a 0.6% growth from 95 to 2005, and then the next phase that we'll be moving into from 2015 to 2065 will be moving from a 0.8 to a 1.4%. So essentially, okay, so basically what we were saying before is that, like, this was the growth from, so basically, like, we were at, okay, so let's go back to that first one. We were at 0.3%, and the robots are going to take us to 0.14%. So essentially, from where we are right now to where we could be, we're literally doubling our growth, which is crazy. It's a crazy leap that we've never done before. We're doubling what we're already at our highest capabilities right now. We're going to be doubling, which is it's just like, what happens? It's like, what does our world look like when that happens? Because we already have, I don't even have like a great phone right now. It's just have like an old Android, but like, we already have like these really nice iPhones, and like we're moving into, like, let's just like double those capabilities and see what that looks like. And it's crazy. It's crazy to think that. But anyways, the world is definitely changing, and so it's like, so we know that, like, it's like, okay, great, we have all this automation, but like, what do we do with all these people that are completely dependent on these specific jobs that robots are going to be taking over? Basically, I guess I would say the good news for those people is that, like, that they say that politics and public sentiment could actually slow down this process for another 20 years. So it could take about 50 years for this all to implement. At the fastest, it would be 30 years, which might just be too fast. However, if this does happen, when it does happen, we basically have like three options to go at it to essentially counter the imbalance. The first option is to redeploy workers, and this is something that we did back in, like, when we shifted from agriculture to industry. During the Industrial Revolution, basically, in America, before the Industrial Revolution, 40% of American workers worked in agriculture. After the Revolution, only 2% worked in that. So that kind of shows, like, yeah, maybe redeployment can work, and that's what the McKinsey Global Institute, their study references that specifically. So that could be a possibility. However, it's just like, this is kind of a completely different situation. Like, agriculture is pretty basic, and we're kind of moving into something that's much more high tech and more involved. So I don't know if that's going to work. Who knows? But maybe there's something possible there. The second option we're looking at here is universal basic income, which is something that we haven't really heard much about in politics, but it will definitely be a controversial topic that will be coming up in political debates within the next few years, because if we do have a significant amount of people that are unemployed, basically we need something to balance that, and a universal basic income would essentially be a policy where, I'll just read off the definition, a policy where all citizens of a country will receive an unconditional amount of money on top of income they generate through their own means. The funds could be provided by government or a public institution. So apparently actually this year, Netherlands and a few other countries, but specifically in the Netherlands, will be testing this system out. And essentially what they're going to be doing is giving about 2,000 citizens of their citizens 560 euros a month as a basic monthly income. And so what they hope to get from that is that it helps them to reduce the unemployment rate, lower poverty, as well as reduce the social gap there that will be inevitable if people don't have jobs, obviously. So those are two options I just went through. I think the third option, the one that makes the most sense for me, or at least it's not the end to all, but I think it's something that we definitely are going to need to shift to is if automation is taking over the world, then what's the opposite of automation? Well, it's creativity. And I think that, so for me, if I had to say what's our best option, I think our best option is to implement much more creative focused educational systems for K to 12, and even in college. Just like children people in general should be, I would say, kind of not forced, but what's the word? Kind of completely, I guess, guided to utilize their creative powers and discover their creative talents, because it's like the humans of the future, the successful humans of the future, will be creative individuals. And it's like, yeah, we're creative people are successful now, but it's an extremely useful tool now, but it's going to be a much even more powerful and valued and useful tool in the very future. So I feel like the concept of I'm not creative, that statement, that can't be the case, because that's like saying I can't get a job, or I'm not worthy of making money, or whatever that is. It's just it's that term, or that excuse is no longer valid anymore. I think that creativity is something that we'll really need to embrace, and we're gonna have to really introduce that to our children, to our youth, and have them really understand that it's how important it is to be creative, and to really influence that and promote that in whatever it is that they're doing. So those are the three kind of at least viable options that we have right now. I don't know what's gonna happen. Do I think that within 30 years we'll have full automation, or 55% of the jobs will be fully automated? I don't think so. I think it will probably take longer than that. I think there will be some significant backlash that we'll have to deal with. But at the same time, there may be some. We may find incredible momentum that will. We might be able to find, I guess I would say, solutions to these problems a lot earlier than we think. And so right now we're kind of looking at it from the standpoint of we have no idea what this actually is like. I have no idea what having a 55% of the world's jobs fully automated. I have no idea what that's like. But maybe when we're closer to that, it will make more sense as to how that balance occurs. So anyways, that is the topic for today. If you have any thoughts or comments upon that, please leave those down below. Let me know. Anyways, I think that's all I got for today, but I will be back on tomorrow. And yeah, hell yeah. Y'all enjoy the rest of your day, and I will talk to y'all tomorrow. Peace and love.